Welcome to Jumpsuiters, a podcast where we explore multidimensional topics in a practical 3D reality sort of way. Today I want to talk to the business leaders out there, specifically the ones who have focused on making real impact in the external world, who've created real, tangible, impressive work. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, a freelancer that fucking figured it out. Maybe you've led teams through the ups and downs of the market using your brain and your instincts to navigate the unknown territory out there and all around you. Here's the question that I have for you. Are you ready to bring that same level of awareness and focus to the inside? To explore a new kind of unknown, the subconscious? To do the deep inner work that's required to navigate this emergent landscape with integrity and clarity and perhaps a little bit of ease and maybe some fun. So let's start here. Does this sound true for you? You've overinvested in your mind and forgot the other forms of intelligence in your body. You bought the lie that you can't trust your feelings. You live in your head so much that you're either completely dissociated from your body or you have to continually keep it in motion so the sensations inside don't overwhelm you. Rest is hard. Ease is a fantasy. You fear that if you slow down, all of the momentum will stop. And momentum is everything. You fear that if you look inside, you're not sure you'll have the capacity to really face what's in there. Or maybe that was a past version of you. Maybe something's happened recently that's cracked you wide open. Maybe you're questioning your identity, your past choices. Maybe the future that you saw is starting to render an entirely new reality. Maybe you're feeling a sense of surrender to new possibilities, even if you can't quite see them yet. It's like something inside of you knows there's a shift happening. Readiness shows up differently in people. It can look like the strategies that used to work for you now of a sudden feel flat, or maybe even feel in direct opposition. The win or the high you used to chase no longer satisfies you when you get it. And you have a hunch that there's a deeper intelligence inside of you, a kind of creativity or intuition or something that you can't quite name or access yet. And it feels frustrating because you know you're capable of more than PDFs and Zoom calls. Sometimes readiness is triggered by a crisis, a burnout, a health scare, a divorce, losing a key team member. And a lot of times it's quieter. You just wake up one morning, look at your calendar and think, none of this actually feels alive to me anymore. Is this really what I want to be doing? That's the doorway. You can slam it shut and go back to autopilot. Most people do. Or you can step through the threshold and see what the fuck's on the other side. If you're in the doorway, you don't need a conference or a playbook. What you need is a container. A container is a place, physical and energetic, that's strong enough to hold the version of you that's falling apart and the version of you that's wanting to be born. A good container creates safety, so you can take the mask off without the fear that what comes out will be used against you. It has structure, just enough to keep you grounded and enough space and openness that anything's possible. A good container is held by people who have done their own inner work, who can see the real you and reflect that truth back. And a good container will interrupt your normal routine with practices that can break you out of those usual loops with things like breath work, movement, nature, alter states of consciousness, or even silence. It could look like a psychedelic retreat that's ethical and guided by skilled facilitators. It could look like a series of intimate conversations with other leaders where the only agenda is the truth. The format matters less than the intention, to create enough space for something new to arrive. Once your pattern is interrupted and the noise quiets down, once you've dropped into a place of authenticity and safety, the ego can relax. And when the ego relaxes, the thought of something dying feels neutral, natural, and the possibility of something new being born can become real. You might suddenly have an image of a new product your company needs to build, or an inspiration to reactivate or decentralize your team. Or maybe your next big move isn't even in the same industry. What happens in a well-held container is your inner channel opens and the ideas are right there, ready to be caught, ready to be anchored into reality. This highlights the essential need for integration. Most people go home and immediately get drowned in emails, meetings, and those be realistic conversations. But the kinds of leaders this world needs are the ones who will remain committed to doing the inner work. Nervous system expansion, so you can hold this new energy and version of yourself. Therapy or coaching, so you don't have to walk this new path alone. Space holding isn't a new idea. There's a ton of people out there guiding one-on-one work for people like you. But the space that Jumpsuit is expanding into is in creating containers that are large enough to support deep integration across teams and systems. It's why we've built a decentralized network to catch ideas before they evaporate, to work alongside you as guides and implementers to support your vision and new version of reality. We have the people who can bring what comes up into form. We've got world-class EOS implementers and somatic coaches, creative directors, product owners, and shamans. We can guide you in power dynamics and shadow work while standing up a campaign to bring people together into this new story. Jumpsuit's not a typical agency or consultancy. It's a living ecosystem where each person brings their magic exactly at the moment that's needed. That's how we anchor vision into reality, not with a single leader, but with a web of people who can support the new reality you're creating. Why does this matter? Because we want to change the way that work happens, to move it from a constant grind into a living, breathing cycle. A rhythm where we pause to slow down and truly sense what's needed, where we open and expand into new possibilities, where we focus our energy and experiment boldly, and where we integrate what we've learned before sensing again and beginning the next cycle. This is the emergent operating system. And in order to step into it, you have to do the inner work, and you must be able to integrate what comes up. Because deep inner work without action is just a trip. And execution without inner work is going to burn you out or burn you. And we've seen leaders go from brain fog and total collapse to decisive and completely lit up. And not because they learned a new tactic, but because they remembered who they are. Because they gave themselves permission to step into it and then surrounded themselves with the right collaborators to bring this knowing into form. So do you feel that tug toward deeper work? Do you know deep down that you're ready to lead from a place that's more alive than anything you've known or done before? If so, let us create a container for you, or for you and your team. Let's look at what's wanting to emerge and what's needing to die. Let's get honest about what's still alive that needs nurtured. Let's practice our sensing powers, get honest about our shadows. Let's see what an altered state of consciousness or the collective consciousness field has to say to you. And let's show ourselves and the world what happens when our awakened inner power shapes the sleeping, exhausted, burnt out outer world.